Welcome to Movieflix, and today, we're counting down our picks for the best superhero of the century so far. Watch out for minor spoilers ahead. Zack Snyder's Justice League. The theatrical cut of Justice League had many problems. The biggest being that wasn't one artist's vision. After years of fan campaigning, Warner Media finally released the Snyder Cut, appropriately titled Zack Snyder's Justice League. While audiences have polarizing feelings on Snyder, this director's cut finds him at his best, with an emphasis on visual storytelling, massive set pieces, and the gravitas that was missing from Joss Whedon's cut. The 4-hour runtime might intimidate some, but Snyder earns it with Darkseid's introduction and more development for all our heroes, especially Ray Fisher's Cyborg, who's dead with every frame. You sense Snyder's passion to not only deliver on the insurmountable fan expectations, but to also give his late daughter, Autumn, a beautiful tribute. 9. X-Men: Days of Future Past. In 2003, fans of Marvel's mutants were treated to an exciting and thrilling superhero. We were also introduced to new breakout stars like Quicksilver, and each action sequence stood out by letting individual mutant powers guide the scenes. Despite balancing a huge roster and gigantic stakes, the story feels personal and grounded. This tightly written time epic helped guarantee the X-Men would return for many more future adventures. Number 8. The Batman. With every new incarnation of Batman, the filmmakers run the risk of retreading on all too familiar territory. Although Tim Burton and Christopher Nolan paved the way for the Batman, director Matt Reeves makes this version his own. He does so by focusing on a younger, more inexperienced Bruce Wayne, who's rarely seen out of costume. Reeves not only puts a stronger emphasis on Wayne's alter ego, but also the character's detective skills. Batman meets his match in Paul Dano's Riddler, who's intimidating and creepy without ever feeling like a Joker wannabe. Zoe Kravitz makes for a feisty yet layered Catwoman, while Colin Farrell transcends into the Penguin. Reeves's Gotham strikes the ideal balance between grounded and otherworldly, delivering possibly the best-looking interpretation we've seen in live action. Number 7. Iron Man. It's the film that didn't just launch a successful trilogy, but an entire cinematic universe. Even if Iron Man had simply been a standalone movie, it still would have exceeded all expectations. When you think about it, the fact that this movie turned out as well as it did is miraculous. Director Jon Favreau wasn't known for action, while Robert Downey Jr. was struggling to shake his controversial past. The script wasn't finished when shooting commenced, requiring the actors to improvise a fair deal of dialogue, including Downey Jr.'s final remark to the press. On top of all that, Iron Man wasn't especially well known to mainstream audiences in 2008. Now, thanks to this film, we all know that Tony Stark is Iron Man. Number 6. Captain America: Civil War. Throughout the Infinity Saga, the Captain America movies perhaps went through the most drastic transformation. This makes sense, given the timely forcing Steve Rogers to adapt to modern day. We may not be perfect, while Rogers remains a pure-hearted soul to the end. War isn't always as straightforward as good guys versus bad guys. Sometimes both sides have valid standpoints, turning friends into enemies in fighting for what he believes is right. Captain America goes from Boy Scout to rebel with a cause. Civil War is practically an Avengers movie, with Spider-Man making his long-awaited MCU debut along with Black Panther. However, the Russolos never lose sight of the central conflict between Cap, Iron Man, and the Winter Soldier. In the end, we don't know who to root for. Number 5. Logan. Although Deadpool had already brought X-Men into our rated territory, Logan was a different beast entirely. For all its ups and downs, superhero movies wouldn't be what they are today without X-Men. and Logan was the franchise's most daring outing to date. Director James Mangold redefined what a superhero movie could be, trading flashy visuals for a bleak, unforgiving backdrop, reminiscent of an apocalyptic western. There isn't a day to save anymore, but living to see tomorrow is considered a victory. Heroes who once seemed invincible are pushed beyond their limits. Of X-Men. Number 4. Black Panther. Logan was the first comic book superhero movie to receive a screenplay Oscar. To get to know the film, but Black Panther went even further. This Best Picture nominee wasn't merely another MCU movie. It was a cultural milestone for representation, of course. Representation alone doesn't secure a film's place in the zeitgeist. To truly make an impact, the characters have to be identifiable. The drama needs to be compelling, and the world must spring to life. Director Ryan Coogler accomplished all of the above, celebrating black culture on an unprecedented scale. Of all the movies produced during his time as Disney CEO, Bob Iger said that he was proudest of Black Panther. We can see why. It is a landmark that's still making a difference. Wakanda and Chadwick Boseman forever. Number 3. Spider-Man 2. Before there was the MCU, there was Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, and its superior sequel, Spider-Man 2, in particular, set a precedent for all future Marvel movies. At the time, it was the funniest and most visually impressive superhero movie yet. What surprised critics like Roger Ebert, though, was the human story. Although Donner, Superman, and Burton's Batman gave us layered heroes, Spider-Man managed to delve deeper into the realities that superheroes would face. Peter Parker isn't much different from the average college student balancing studies, relationships, and paying the rent. What sets him apart is one enormous responsibility with few rewards. Throw in Alfred Molina as one of the greatest supervillains, and you have a superhero movie that evolved the genre to new frontiers. Number 2. Avengers: Infinity War. The MCU has taken up nearly half this list, but Infinity War may be this cinematic universe's most impactful entry thus far. Although Endgame had an even bigger cast, Thanos alone propelled Infinity War into top-tier territory. After several years of build-up, Thanos firmly established himself as the MCU's most physically daunting villain. What makes Thanos so intimidating, though, are his dangerous mindset and identifiable motivations. From Thanos' perspective, he's a hero willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for the greater good. Following the trajectory of other heroes' journeys, Thanos emerges victorious. On the other side of the mirror, however, Thanos' triumph is the biggest failure for the real heroes. The grim ending is one for the ages, reducing the audience to piles of ashes. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Deadpool, a biting satire of the genre that also stands as a great superhero flick. Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. This vastly underrated gem is devilishly entertaining from start to finish. Guardians of the Galaxy, a funny and inspiring space opera that celebrates the underdogs. Wonder Woman. This sprawling war adventure finally did the famous Amazon justice. Spider-Man: No Way Home. 3 webheads plus 5 classic villains equals 1 epic Spidey film. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Dark Knight. At this point, The Dark Knight's status as the best superhero movie isn't a matter of opinion. It's essentially a fact that few would argue against. Picking up where Batman Begins left off, director Christopher Nolan improved upon everything. From the action to the real world commentary to the villain, in a posthumous performance that earned him a well-deserved Oscar. Heath Ledger molded the Joker from a comic book villain to the embodiment of terror. It's often said that Joker is Batman's opposite. Really though, Joker is the antithesis of Harvey Dent's White Knight. Sometimes, opposites are just one bad day away from being identical. However, okay, fine. This is where Batman comes in, traversing the lonely line between nobility and darkness on the double-headed coin of justice. What's your favorite 21st century superhero movie? Let us know in the comments. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Movieflix. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
This city deserves a better class of criminal. I'm gonna give it to him. No! You'll see. I'll show you. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
What in the back pot, sir?
In the middle of the day, Alfred? Not very subtle.
The Lamborghini, then.
Much more subtle.